Welcome to St John's for our weekly update. Today I'm standing near the high altar because it's the feast of Corpus Christi, and the altar is the centrepiece of this cathedral. Pearson, the architect, wrote that he hoped that as people came up through the doors at the west end, they would catch a sudden glimpse of the altar. That's why there are steps inside to bring us up to the eye level with the altar, that as people came up the steps they would catch a vision that would drive them to their knees. A beautiful understanding of the encounter that we have during the Eucharist. As I said, today is the feast of Corpus Christi. It means the body of Christ in Latin. And it's the day when we hold a service to say thank you to God for the gift of the Eucharist. We use the Eucharist as a way of offering our thanksgiving to God. That's what the word Eucharist means. But on this day, we actually take time to give thanks for the gift of the Eucharist because it's the most intimate way that we experience God together. And we encounter the crucified and risen one. The crucified and risen one makes himself known to us through the breaking of bread and the breaking open of the word. So it's a very special day, a day when we pause and think about one of the things that connects us constantly to God as Trinity. The Eucharist is so important to us in our tradition that one of our chapels is actually named after the sacrament of the Eucharist. It's called the Blessed Sacrament Chapel, and in that place we keep the sacrament that we are going to use with the sick. And so there's actually a place where we can come apart and be in the presence of the crucified and risen one in that physical form. Whenever we like. Other things happening in the life of the cathedral this week. Tomorrow morning we have wine before breakfast. It's a regular piece on the first Friday of the month. We have a Eucharist together, and Blair Martin leads us on a meditation about a particular saint in the tradition of the Church. It's the activity that gave birth to Saints on a Mission, which happens every Friday at 10:30 a.m. by Zoom. So please tune in to those. And then as the weekend unfolds, on Sunday evening, we have our Mystics, Theologians and God Botherers session for the month of June. This month we're joined by Bishop Alison Taylor, who will be zooming in from Melbourne. Despite the lockdown, it's one of the great gifts of the technology that we've discovered during the COVID crisis. Bishop Alison will be zooming in from Melbourne to have a conversation with us about Saint Ignatius of Loyola, a really significant figure in the life of the Church, and someone who gifted us many spiritual tools that enable us to use our imaginations to engage with the faith. Also on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock we have our current study, which is entitled Being Anglican, and it's looking at the shape and nature of how Anglicans do the faith. That's being offered in the Darnell room and by Zoom, and if you missed the first session last week, I'm sure you'll find yourself able to catch up and to enjoy what's unfolding. It's a very great presentation by Bishop Bill. This week we have released the next in our On the Way podcast series. This one is a really intriguing conversation with Bishop George Browning. Bishop George was one of the regional bishops in this diocese and then went on to be the Bishop of Canberra and Goulburn, and so during that time he got to see the political machinations in Canberra from a unique perspective as a faith leader. And in this episode of the podcast, he explores some of the implications for our our life as a country and also for the spirituality of our nation. It's a really intriguing, interesting and challenging presentation. And so to birthdays. This week we say happy birthday to Keith McClintock, to Crystal Barnes and Angie Mooney. I hope you all have a great week. So once again, thank you for your involvement in the life of the Cathedral community. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for all that you do to enable us to be a community of transformation, seeking to be people who make a positive, gentle and transforming difference in the world. Peace be with you.